Welcome, my friends. Thank you for joining me. Let's begin. Before you rise, before your feet touch the floor, before your mind reaches for the noise, there is one decision that determines everything. Who comes first? Because the world will come for your attention. Distraction will knock before daylight. Temptation will whisper before breakfast. And anxiety will wrap its arms around your thoughts before you've even opened your eyes. But there is a power reserved for those who choose God before all of it. Not God when things go wrong. Not God as an afterthought. Not God when every other voice has failed. God first, because order determines outcome. And what you place first becomes the foundation for everything that follows. Look closely at the structure of your life. What's first in your morning? What's first in your heart? What's first in your ambition? Because what you choose first owns you. And here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. If you don't choose God first, you will choose something else. Your feelings, your ego, your fear, your past, your pride. And each of those things will take you further from the purpose you were born to fulfill. Choosing God first is not just a religious habit. It's spiritual war strategy. It's drawing the sword before the enemy speaks. It's establishing dominion before doubt takes the throne. It's anchoring your identity before the world tells you who to be. When you choose God first, you're saying to every voice, every idol, every demon, every fear, you don't get to lead today, He does. You become immovable, not because of who you are, but because of whose you are. The men and women God used throughout history, they all had this in common. They didn't fit God around their lives, they formed their lives around God. They didn't try to carry God in their pocket. They carried His presence on their shoulders, and that made them dangerous. Moses chose God first, and Pharaoh fell. Noah chose God first, and the flood couldn't drown him. Abraham chose God first and became the father of nations. Ruth chose God first, and destiny found her in the field. God never asked for convenience. He asked for commitment, first, foremost, final. Because when God is first, everything else must fall in line or fall away. Choosing God first doesn't mean your life gets easier. It means your life gets ordered. And when your life is ordered by heaven, chaos cannot rule your steps. But most people never see the power of choosing God first because they're still negotiating. They want God's peace without His presence. They want God's blessing without obedience. They want to be covered by God, but not conform to Him. You cannot walk in power with one foot in compromise. God is not something you sample. He is someone you submit to. And submission isn't silent. It's loud. It's disruptive. It rearranges your priorities, rewrites your calendar, and rewires your desires. When you choose God first, He starts showing you everything in your life that's second and pretending to be first. That relationship you refuse to surrender. That ambition you won't let Him refine. That habit you keep hidden behind your prayers. God doesn't just want a seat at your table. He is the table. He doesn't fit inside your comfort zone. He burns it to the ground and builds something holy in its place. And when that fire falls, things will start to shift. Friends will leave. Doors will close. Opportunities will vanish. Not because you're being punished, but because you're being positioned. When God becomes first, everything not rooted in Him must fall away. He prunes what doesn't bear fruit. He cuts what doesn't belong. He disrupts what you settled for so you can step into what you were called for. And yes, it will hurt. Obedience will cost you everything you thought you couldn't live without. But you will find what the world never told you. The safest place in life is not in control, it's in God's control. When you choose God first, you lose nothing of eternal value. You gain clarity that silences confusion. You gain peace that ignores circumstances. You gain boldness that refuses to bow. Because choosing God first is not a quiet decision. It's a public declaration. It is saying, I will not be ruled by the world's pace. I will not be owned by culture's voice. I will not sell my soul for applause. It is building your house on the rock, not the sand. And when the storm comes, and it will, your house will stand. There's a moment in every life where you stop asking God to bless your plans and start asking God to reveal His. That's when everything begins to change. Because when God becomes first in your life, you stop chasing vision, and vision starts chasing you. You stop asking, what should I do with my life? And you start declaring, Lord, whatever you want, I'm available. You stop forcing doors open. You stop manipulating outcomes. You stop measuring your worth by what you achieve. Because when God is first, purpose is no longer a mystery. It becomes a mandate. Clarity comes, peace arrives. And you stop being confused about who you are, because you're finally aligned with whose you are. That's the power of divine alignment. It doesn't mean the road is always smooth, but it means the path is always right. It doesn't mean storms won't hit, but it means you won't be moved. You walk with a different rhythm. You think with a renewed mind. You speak with the voice of the Spirit. You no longer second-guess your worth, your value, or your calling. You become confident, not in your strength, but in the strength of the one who sent you. Because God doesn't anoint the strongest. He anoints the surrendered. He doesn't choose the ones who have it all together. He chooses the ones who put Him together first. And when you finally say, God, I want you before anything else, something unlocks in the heavens. The fog lifts. The confusion breaks. And you begin to see, not with your eyes, but with vision. You see what matters. You see what was holding you back. You see how the pain was preparation. You see how every detour, every delay, every disappointment was God protecting the order of your destiny. Because when God is first, even your setbacks serve His plan. Even your mistakes can't cancel His mercy. Even your silence becomes sacred. Even your suffering becomes seed. That's why the enemy fights hardest at the level of your focus. Because he knows if he can distract you from God, he can disarm your destiny. But when God is first, you are no longer easy to deceive. You stop falling for every shiny promise. You stop bending under pressure. You stop letting your feelings dictate your faith. You become steady, rooted, dangerous. Because now, you don't just believe in God, you walk with Him. Not behind Him, not ahead of Him, but with Him. And when you walk with God, every step becomes sacred. Every delay is divine. Every morning is war, and every victory is inevitable. Not because of you, but because you've put Him first. Choosing God first is not a one-time decision. It's a daily commitment. It's not about a moment of spiritual inspiration. It's about a lifestyle of spiritual discipline. Because you don't walk with God by feeling your way through life. You walk with Him by choosing Him, even when you don't feel like it. There will be days when the distractions are louder than your devotion. There will be days when your flesh tries to pull you away from the quiet place. There will be days when the world offers its glittering temptations, and they look so good. But when you choose God first, you make an eternal decision for an unseen God in the midst of a seen world. It's easy to choose God when everything's falling into place. But the real power is in choosing God when everything feels like it's falling apart. It's when the tears fall, when the questions rise, when the doubts begin to creep in. That's when God first becomes a radical declaration of faith. It's in those moments of unseen obedience that God's power starts to rise in you. Obedience doesn't need to be celebrated. It doesn't need to be seen. It doesn't need to be acknowledged. Obedience is its own reward. The times when you choose Him in the quiet, unseen places, they shape you into someone unshakable. And the discipline of choosing Him first every day without fail, that becomes your foundation. You see, it's easy to build a house on a smooth road, but real strength comes from building on the rocks. Real strength is found when you choose Him in the silence. Real strength is found when you obey, even when no one is watching. Real strength is found when you build your house with Him as the cornerstone, not as a footnote. Because when God is first, there is no need to impress others. There is no need to seek the world's approval. You don't need the accolades, the applause, the approval. All you need is His presence. And when you have His presence, you have everything. This is why unseen obedience is so powerful. It's the small choices you make in private that shape who you become in public. It's the discipline of seeking God before you seek anything else. It's the prayer before the work. It's the gratitude before the breakthrough. It's the surrender before the success. These choices, the ones no one sees, are the ones that keep you grounded in God. They are the ones that build a life you can stand on when the storms of life come. Because choosing God first is not a one-time fix. It's a continual choice, a daily, relentless pursuit of His will, a refusal to settle for anything less than His best. And in that relentless pursuit, you find that nothing else matters. You realize that everything you once thought was important is actually insignificant compared to His presence. When you choose God first, your soul becomes aligned with purpose. Your heart becomes in tune with heaven, and your mind becomes steady. It's like tuning an instrument. When you tune yourself to God first, every string in your life begins to harmonize with His will. Now here's where it gets personal. Here's where the rubber meets the road. Choosing God first isn't just a philosophy. It's a lifestyle, and it's a decision you make every single day. Every morning when you open your eyes, you have a choice. Will you allow the world to rush in first, or will you choose God? Will you rush to the noise, or will you pause to listen to the voice that created the universe? The enemy will tell you that your needs come first, your wants, your desires, your plans. He will tell you that you can't afford to wait for God, that you have too much to do, too many people depending on you, too many tasks to finish. But here's the truth. If you don't choose God first, everything else you're chasing will never be enough. The work will never be complete. The to-do list will never be finished. The dreams will never be fulfilled. Because apart from God, nothing is truly fulfilling. Apart from God, success is empty. Apart from God, peace is fleeting. Apart from God, the joy you seek will slip through your fingers like sand. But when you choose God first, your soul finds rest. Your mind finds clarity. Your heart finds peace. Your spirit finds strength. The truth is, when God is first, everything else finds its place. Choosing God first doesn't mean you stop pursuing your dreams. It doesn't mean you stop working hard. It doesn't mean you stop fighting for what's right. It means you start doing it all with God at the center. It means you start doing it all for His glory, not your gain. It means you start doing it all with eternal purpose in mind. This is what the world needs to see from you. A person who is completely sold out to God. A person who chooses Him first, no matter the cost. A person who walks in the truth that His presence is more powerful than anything this world has to offer. When you choose God first, your life becomes a beacon, a light that others cannot ignore, because they'll see something different in you. They'll see peace. They'll see strength. They'll see purpose. They'll see someone who's not chasing the world's fleeting promises, but is living in the unshakable power of God's eternal truth. So now, choose. Choose God first. And choose Him again tomorrow. And again the next day. And the day after that. Because when you choose God first, you don't just find your purpose. You find your power. You find your freedom. You find the one thing that nothing and no one can take from you, your identity in Christ. And when you walk in that identity, you become unstoppable. So let the world know, let your soul know, let heaven hear. God is first. Above my plans, above my fears, above my desires, above everything. And when you do, watch the chains fall. Watch the doors open. Watch your life begin to reflect the glory of the one who made you. That is the power of choosing God first. And now, walk in it. Thank you for joining me today. Please like and subscribe and comment below. We would love to know if this helped you in any way. May the Spirit of God be with you.